Cue the rooster. In today's video, I'm going to give you a little tour of my tech room. All right, this is what we call the viewing room. This room has not been organized or like thoroughly cleaned all summer, and it's September now. Kids are all back in school. I do a lot of horse camps for kids and do a lot of lessons. I have a couple hundred students that have to use all this stuff, and this is how it stays organized all the time. So this is kind of the before, and then I'm gonna go through and organize this entire room, go through stuff, get rid of things, get a few new things, and I'll show you that video later. But for now, let's check it out and see what we got going on. First thing is, well, let's go up here and I'll show you the cats. So this is like the little kitty home. So this is where people can sit and watch lessons that go on if they don't want to be out in the arena. This is Jackson. And then this is Lila. So they're we have 4 barn kitties, and here's 2 of them. Now I have up top, you can see I've got a lot of extra things, extra grooming tools, camping gear for horses, polo wraps, fly masks, leg wraps, that kind of stuff, all sorts of additional things that I don't really use. And then this is one of my favorite things about this room. One of my boarders surprised me and put this all together while I was away at a clinic last year. And so I have a spot for all the loaner helmets on these cute little dowels, and it just keeps everything nice and neat and organized. So I love that. So for students who don't have their own helmets, we got a great spot for them. On the other side of the railing here, we have all of my horses' bridles. Now, all the pink labels are pretty much the ones that we use every day. And there's a couple of horses that I don't use for lessons that are up here, and a few others that I need to add to it. So basically these bridles are all my snaffle bits. I'll show you Petra's for instance. It's a snaffle bit, and I have these fun little rainbow reins that I have custom made for me. So, and I like to use slobber straps for all of my training bridles. They just offer a lot more feel to the horse, and so you get much better response, I feel, and it's better for the horse. And then moving down, so those are like more of a Western snaffle, but if I'm riding bareback or English, we use those as well. Now, these are all in the greenish yellowish color. These are all of my English bridles. And the English bridles I don't use for very many lessons because I like the rope reins. Like I said, they get better feel to them. So the reason I don't use the English bridles during the lessons is because there's a little bit more to them to put on, and then the feel, of course, with the rein. But I like to save these for the riders who start leasing, or if we're doing more advanced lessons or jumping, something like that. Then we use the English bridles, but that's pretty much the only time I use those. Now, underneath all the bridles, we have coordinating cinches to go with the horse. So like here's Petra's bridle, and her cinch gets hung up underneath her bridle. So everybody always knows where it is. And then same thing with the English ones. The girths are underneath their bridles. So moving over to this side, this rack right here is pretty much just for like the saddles that the kids can't get up on the high racks or something. They get put here and then they get put away from there. So that's really the only purpose of this rack right now. Moving on to the orange ones, this is all competition type bridles, bridles for speed events, Western pleasure, things that we only use for specific things that really don't get used very often. And then I also have my side pulls. So these are rope halters with reins and little chin straps on them that I use for lessons. And I've got surcingle, extra loop reins, extra split reins. I have a couple of harnesses up here. I'm not really a fan of where these are located because they're very difficult to get to. So eventually I'd like to have a hitching post down at my other barn. I've got the 2 barns, and this is the arena barn. And my small barn, I'd like to have a hitching post down there and have my harnesses hanging there. So when we do want to hitch a horse, we have them at the hitching post, harness them there, and then move on. But this just is really where they ended up for now. And then this is kind of like the little like desk area. I just have, you know, things for camps and paperwork, stuff like that. Down here I've got a bunch of like leg wraps and boots and random stuff, things for camp. And now saddles, I keep all of my saddles. I try to keep the heavier ones up top and the kid saddles towards the bottom. So these are all Western saddles here with pads that go with them. And then over here I've got English saddles up on top and then Western saddles on the bottom. And on this rack, I have all of my bareback pads. I like to use Best Friend bareback pads, they're called. And I have both the English and Western version. And the only difference between English and Western version is the English one has a rounded back, the Western one has pockets. So I don't understand that, but they are what they are. So we use these daily. The thing I like about the type of saddle racks that I have in here is you can take your pad, this one's super dirty and sweaty and gross, and you can put it upside down on the rack and then put your saddle on top of it. So it's a nice way to keep your pad and your saddle separate, which is if you use like CSI or 5-star Western pads, you really shouldn't let your pad get smashed at all. So it's good to have it hanging on its own. Moving on up here, I've got just some random, I've got some breast collars, Bozell's, Buddy stirrups, show halters, and then down here I have all of our Latigo tie straps, curbs, slobber straps, snaffle bits, shank bits. These are all extras. And then I also have just random leather pieces in here, girth extenders. All of my hobbles I keep in here, the ones that I don't use out in the arena. And then extra English irons and leathers are there. Kitty litter box, very important part of a tack room. And let's see, these two bins that are down here are actually empty. They're just there because I didn't know where to put them, so that's where they ended up. And now I've got some brush buckets here. These are not currently being used, so that's kind of where I store the ones that I sold those horses, and one is from a horse that passed. Now, this is one of my favorite things, and these are not, usually we have these pushed like that, but these are all my brushes. And so the reason why I organize my brushes like this, I have each handle is painted to match the bucket, and they are all different colors. And so I have the horse's name, their date of birth, and then their breed, because those are the three most popular things that people want to know, or most common things people want to know about the horse. And every brush or every bucket has every brush that they would need. So the reason that my horses all have their own individual buckets is because if we bring a horse in and start grooming them and we find that they have something like rain rot or lice or some sort of a skin issue at all, we're going to find it during the grooming process. And my horses, they all share tack. So I may have one saddle that I use on 5 different horses, or one pad that I use on everybody. Each horse has their own cinch because that's kind of specific to them. But as far as tack, they share that. But brushes I want to keep separate because, like I said, if I find something, it's probably going to be during the grooming process. And it makes it easier too because everybody seems to have like their one favorite brush. So if I just had one big thing of brushes, everyone would fight over that one favorite brush. So this is an easy way. And since I put paint on all the handles, we know exactly where they all go. So it's super easy to keep these organized with a couple hundred people using all of them. Okay, so moving over here, I have, this is just kind of like a little desk sort of area. I have, these are extra brushes that just haven't been, this one, I'm going to put this away real quick. These brushes are all just extras that I've ordered that I haven't put in buckets yet. I'm going to reorganize all the buckets this fall. Right here I have, for instance, Chicago screws. If you ride Western, you need Chicago screws at some point. So the Chicago screws are all in here. I know where to find them. A lot of these are empty, but in like this one, there's just a random bell in there because that's necessary. But I need to put labels on all these, but just all the little things will stay organized in here. Up on here, I've got some just extra spurs, screwdrivers, pliers, extra snaps, safety glasses, batteries, you know, random stuff. And I'm one that absolutely I love to label things. And so I love tape for labeling. And this is actually a plunger. My mom and I won this as a trophy one year doing, if you're familiar with speed events or like Gymkhana classes, you probably know what ribbon race is or have done it at a fun show. So we went to a competition one time, a fun show, and it was ribbon race, but they used toilet paper instead of the ribbon. So my mom and I won, and then they gave us this silver plunger. This is Clover. Everybody knows Clover. So this is a great place to store all my tape, and my favorite tape for making labels in the barn is masking tape, and now it comes in all kinds of fun colors, so that's my favorite way to organize and label stuff. Okay, and then we have behind the door here. Behind the door we have Western breast collars that are all set up. And we've got a place for baggies, for like cleaning the litter box, and then just some basic random stuff that you need in a barn. So I think that covers everything. Mm-hmm. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, share it with your friends, and comment below. Let me know what kind of things you do to organize your tack room, or anything that you see in my tack room that you think I could do a little bit differently to make it easier. I'd really love to hear your thoughts, and maybe I can incorporate that into my organization video. So, okay, see you in the next one. Bye.